Welcome back to ZNGP today. Carlo Pernat pulled no punches after Brno's action-packed weekend, praising Marc Márquez for shouldering Ducati's title hopes while spotlighting rising challengers like Bezzecchi and Martín. With 5 straight wins for Márquez and surprising podiums from KTM runners, Pernat sees both a lifeline and warning signs for the factory's GP25, and a thrilling second half ahead. Despite missing out on a trophy at Brno, Pecco Bagnaia delivered what Ducati boss Gigi Dall'Igna called his strongest performance of 2025. From scoring his first pole of the year to battling at the front in both Sprint and Grand Prix, Bagnaia showcased raw pace and overcame a cruel tire warning glitch to finish a hard-fought 4th. Simon Crafar, the new president of the MotoGP Stewards panel, has turned the controversial task of stewarding into a dialogue-driven mission. Drawing on his riding and broadcasting experience, Crafar emphasizes education over punishment, seeking to prevent repeat mistakes and safeguard riders in the fastest championship on 2 wheels. Here's how he's reshaping the steward's role at Brno and beyond. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Pernat hailed Márquez's unmatched streak, 5 consecutive 1-2s, crediting him with dragging Ducati through a tough season. It's already the 5th consecutive time he's won everything, something he did with Honda. When Dall'Igna brought Márquez to Ducati, he pulled the World Championship wagon, Carlo Pernat said. Without Márquez's brilliance, Ducati's summer haul of 37 points at Brno would have looked far bleaker, underlining his pivotal role on the Desmercedes. Pernat spotlighted Marco Bezzecchi's emergence aboard Aprilia's Noali machine, praising his consistency and mental toughness in Márquez's shadow. They built a beautiful bike in Noali, and with the bad luck Martín had, Bezzecchi, flying solo, has strengthened his mentality and riding. He's the only one not suffering from Márquez. Aprilia's breakthrough partnership and Bezzecchi's relentless pace promised to fuel epic duels in the championship's next phase. On Jorge Martín, Pernat applauded Aprilia's swift move to re-sign him for 2026, and hinted at deeper garage shifts under Massimo Rivola's leadership. Bravo to Massimo Rivola! Now we know Martín will be back next year, then we'll see about Honda. Raul Fernandez is also coming along, he's Rivola's protege. Aprilia's Noali renaissance looks set to continue, with fresh talent and technical expertise converging behind Martín's full-season return. Pernat tipped his hat to Pedro Acosta and Enea Bastianini for KTM's shock podiums, and noted Jack Miller's resurgence too. KTM was strong with Acosta and Binder. Miller has also done well. There are 2 Ducatis in the top 4, but the GP25 is a problem. KTM's late breakers and opportunists reminded the paddock that on any given Sunday, the Austrian squad can spoil Ducati's party. Despite factory depth, Pernat warned Ducati's GP25 remains hard to dial in. Even the likes of Bagnaia and Di Giannantonio falter without Márquez to mask issues. Even Márquez sometimes says between the lines that the bike isn't easy to set up. That will weigh heavily on the second half of the season. The Desmercedes' narrow setup window means every upgrade must be spot-on. Failure risks handing momentum back to rivals. Pernat summed up Ducati's paradox. Márquez's excellence has eclipsed deeper bike woes, keeping them firmly ahead, yet masking deficits that others will exploit. It's been a difficult year for them, and Márquez has been a kind of lifeline. If we look at the standings, it feels like a Ducati Cup. As concessions unlock gains for Yamaha and Honda, Ducati's lead may shrink, forcing Dall'Igna to bring bold innovations before the chase resumes. Pernat's verdict is clear. Marc Márquez has been Ducati's savior in 2025, but his heroics can only carry the GP25 so far. With Aprilia's rise, KTM's surprises, and rule concessions breathing life into rivals, the paddock is primed for a blockbuster second half. For Ducati, the challenge is stark: innovate, or risk watching their lifeline fade. After a gritty Q1 comeback, Bagnaia snatched his first pole of the season at Brno, a signal that the GP25 had come alive under his command. Pecco was really good, with a great start, as already done on Saturday's sprint after his extraordinary first pole position of the season. Gigi Dall'Igna's statement. That blitzing qualifying lap set hopes high, offering a glimpse of the Bagnaia who dominated in America back in round 3. In the sprint, a technical tire warning error cost Bagnaia a well-deserved podium, stalling momentum before Sunday's main event. A podium he would have deserved in view of what happened in the sprint. It was a cruel twist. Electronics, not rivals, stood between Bagnaia and another top 3 finish. In the Grand Prix, Bagnaia streaked to the front, matching teammates and challengers lap for lap, only to fade slightly late on. 4th place, however, significant for the way in which it developed, 2 excellent races, with signs of improvement, and a pace aiming at the top positions. Even as tire life waned, Bagnaia's consistency kept him in contention, finishing just under 4 seconds behind Márquez. Bagnaia still wrestles with braking stability on the Desmosedici, an issue that crept in once his tire performance dipped. He was also unlucky, and it was our fault. One must be able to appreciate every little indication and positive reaction that comes from the bike and above all from the rider. Dall'Igna's admission underlines that while pace is there, setup nuances on the GP25 still demand refinement. Labeling Brno his rider's best weekend, Dall'Igna stressed the importance of building on every positive signal. In my opinion, his best weekend this season, the most important facet is to never let up and for us all to work hard together. Such endorsement from management emphasizes Ducati's faith in Bagnaia, especially with upgrades on the horizon. Bagnaia sits 168 points behind teammate Marc Márquez and trails Alex Marquez by 48 in the fight for P2, the next target for Ducati's number 1. With half the season in the books, Bagnaia's Brno revival could be the springboard he needs to claw back ground as the championship resumes. Gigi Dall'Igna's verdict is clear: Pecco Bagnaia's Brno performance was a milestone, even if the podium eluded him. With pace, resilience, and team backing all aligning, Ducati's GP25 may yet deliver the consistency its double world champion demands. The summer break offers time to fine-tune, and for Bagnaia, the mission is simple: turn best weekend into more trophies. Crafar expected a slow transition but found immediate acceptance among riders and teams, thanks to the communication skills honed as a pit reporter. I thought it would take a year or 2 to feel good, but I felt great right away. I can make the most of everything I've learned in the past, Simon Crafar said. Rather than inheriting a rocky setup, Crafar stepped into a strong team built by Freddie Spencer, allowing him to focus on refining dialogue rather than rebuilding foundations. Before issuing any penalties, Crafar sits down with riders to understand the technical and human factors behind incidents, an approach that few stewards have taken before. Talking to the riders has become even more important, because they have information you, as a judge, don't. I always listen before making judgments. By tapping into riders' first-hand insights on bike behavior, track quirks, or split-second gambles, Crafar ensures his rulings reflect the full context of each incident. Crafar maintains personal rapport with riders off-duty, yet switches to a professional stance in the stewarding room, keeping trust high without compromising integrity. When I meet a rider for coffee, nothing's changed. But when they come to me with a problem, it becomes a very professional relationship. That balance, friend on the paddock, judge in the office, has fostered respect and clarity, reducing anger when penalties arise. Rejecting the image of a sanction-happy arbiter, Crafar views stewarding as a protective, educational role, to deter risky behavior before it becomes dangerous. The rules are written to protect drivers. My job is to prevent drivers from making the same mistakes repeatedly and to protect them from serious consequences. This philosophy positions penalties as learning opportunities, encouraging riders to internalize safety lessons rather than simply serve time. Crafar's MotoGP tenure as a pit reporter and ex-rider gives him unique empathy for competitors, understanding both the split-second pressures and the technical nuances they face. I already knew the dynamics of an accident, but with my previous job, I learned how to communicate certain things. If you don't communicate well, you end up with angry people. Combining accident expertise with clear, respectful communication has become Crafar's trademark, smoothing tense moments and fostering cooperation. As MotoGP returns from the summer break, Crafar's open-door policy and rider-first stewardship promise cleaner, more consistent decisions, and ultimately, fewer crashes. I love educating young drivers. We're trying to build a safer future for these drivers when they reach the top classes. With Crafar at the helm, stewarding in MotoGP is evolving from reactive punishments to proactive protection, a shift set to benefit riders and fans alike as the championship resumes. Simon Crafar's tenure as stewards panel president marks a cultural shift, from purely punitive measures to a partnership with riders grounded in respect, education, and safety. By putting dialogue and protection first, he's crafting a stewarding model that could redefine how MotoGP balances the thrill of racing with the imperative of rider welfare. Thanks for watching ZNGP today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!